Hello everybody, and welcome back to Real Wasted. I'm Pat.
I'm Jackie.
I'm Sean.
And welcome to the very first May of Bay.
I demand things to be awesome.
I would normally do most of the big introductions for this, but I know that Jackie, you are the Bay aficionado here. Why don't you explain the reason behind this glorious holiday?
Well, we wanted to do some theme months highlighting some directors. I was going to say some of our favorite directors, but that doesn't hold for some of the things that we're thinking about doing. But we decided to kick it off with Michael Bay because there are just so many things we can drink to in his films.
Also, regardless of when you're watching this video, there's probably a Transformers movie out. So
It's true. And they're awesome. Boom.
maybe we should just explain our own personal experience with Michael Bay as a basic introduction. Jackie, you're going to be the least judgmental. You go first.
I do love Michael Bay. I love his movies. They are thoroughly entertaining. And come on, nobody can touch him when it comes to car chases. You have to give him that one. I will say this. All right, I've seen The Island. I've seen Pearl Harbor. I get it. I get it.
We're not watching those ones, are we?
Maybe. Be nice.
Yeah, Pat, behave. I can't take that bullet with you. I like the Bad Boys movies. I like The Rock. I like the first Transformers movies. After that, I can kind of take it or leave it with Michael Bay.
Michael Bay is entertaining when he's in his element. I will give him that. The man knows how to film an explosion like it's nobody's business. He also, I think, is one of the most basic film directors I've ever seen. I think a lot of his movies are way too similar and not for the good reasons. Like a lot of Tarantino's movies are similar. A lot of Stanley Kubrick's movies are similar, and they have their similar styles. When I look at Michael Bay, I look at somebody who's just borrowing from everybody and not really doing anything original.
Well, it's that, and even, like I said, most people would call it like the director's signature style, but we are very much towing the line of him becoming a hack. If we see 2 more helicopters fly into a sunset, it's in every movie. I will even own that one.
Towing the line? That line is wide enough for a kick line to walk across.
Or a meteor.
Maybe we should just start with the first movie in the May of Bay here, which is Armageddon.
Somebody down 911!
So for the May of Bay, we're going to have a couple of rules that are going to apply to every movie that we see, and here they are. First rule, Doomsbay. Yes, all of them will have Michael Bay in the title somewhere. This is the most obvious drinking game that you can play with a Michael Bay movie anytime there is an explosion.
Number 2, Chasing Bamey. Chases. On foot, by ski, by skateboard, by car, by helicopter, by submarine. It doesn't matter. I could sit here and I could name off every form of transportation. By Vespa, by Segway. If he's chasing something, you're drinking.
Number 3, Red, White, and Bay. Michael Bay displays tremendous respect for the military and all things America in his films. So anytime you see over-the-top patriotism, take a drink.
I like how you said that he has utmost respect for the military when in Pearl Harbor he has naval officers that can't swim. But no, that's just me saying the truth.
He did also have a mural of JFK, as Sean pointed out.
Which was missing a part of the head, mind you. Historically accurate.
It was missing like a brick of the building, but I mean...
A little on the nose.
It looked a little back
frame.
into the left, if you ask me.
Yeah. But there is just this overall sense of just like America as you watch his movies. Everything is hued red, white, and blue. There are flags everywhere. And my God, does he love a shot of a military aircraft flying overhead. A helicopter.
From directly underneath.
A helicopter, planes, jets.
The jets, yeah.
Those count towards this. Anything where you look at that and you just go, America. You take a drink for that. Number 4 is the Bay of Pigs, which sounds like it should be the American one, but it's not. It's not really that much of a secret that Bay, a lot of his movies do not portray women in the best way. and that's putting it lightly. So anytime you just look at that something and go like, wow, that's pretty sexist, or wow, that's gratuitous, or my God, this scene didn't need TNA, but there it is, then you take a drink.
I did not come up with that one. I just want to put that out there.
Yeah, I did, and it's not unfounded.
Number 5, Shades of Bay. If a race is stereotyped, you're drinking.
Or pretty much any culture is just deliberately exploited in some way or another, or portrayed as a joke, then that counts as well.
All made in Taiwan.
And again, we're starting off the May of Bay with Armageddon, so we have a specific drinking game for this movie. It is the Rock and Clock Connection. Now, here's how this works. Anytime you see a ticking clock in this movie of any kind, or a shot of the meteor that is going to hit the Earth, then you take a drink.
Basically anything having to do with the sense of urgency of Armageddon.
They will constantly tell you what time the asteroid is supposed to hit, what time it is now, what time it's going to be in the future at any point. And they will show that asteroid before they actually land on it so many times. So everybody, make sure that if you want to play this along at home, you are playing safe. Get yourself a drink, pop in Armageddon, and we will see you guys when the movie is over. Cheers!
Gotta blow up a rock, or the Earth gets destroyed.
Good night. I think a lot of Michael Bay's plots can be summed up in one sentence, and we should try and do that, like for every movie. But this one actually does take a little bit of explanation with it.
If you strip away the cheesy love story,
Which you should.
and the daddy issues storyline, yes, it is we have to blow up this meteorite before it hits the Earth and ends all of mankind.
Basically what happens is there is a gigantic asteroid about to hit the Earth that NASA just did not see coming for whatever reason.
Oh, no, they gave a reason. Billy
Yeah.
Bob Thornton says that NASA...
Space is big. That's his explanation.
Space is big and NASA doesn't have a huge budget.
It's the size of Texas, Mr. President.
This is NASA.
They can scan stuff. They can definitely scan an asteroid about to hit the Earth.
You'd
And they can
think.
definitely come up with some better plans. But anyway, an asteroid's about to hit the Earth, and they realize that it's on a collision course with Earth, will destroy everything on the planet.
It's what we call a global killer.
And so they figure that the best way to solve this is to
Send in the clowns.
send in the clowns. They are going to send in a drilling team to drill to the center of the asteroid, plant a bomb there, and the bomb will explode the asteroid in such a way that it will not affect anybody. Except
It will split into 2 perfect, even pieces, and just separate enough where it misses the Earth on either side.
I think it is worth noting that the options were to either teach astronauts to drill and send the astronauts into space and have them drill this massive hole, and instead they thought it was a better option to teach the drill team how to prepare to go into space.
The United States government just asked us to save the world. Anybody want to say no?
You think we'll get hazard pay out of this?
Does anybody understand the amount of schooling that it takes to teach Earth science in high school?
And
Much less get on a rocket ship and go to outer space, and they got these guys whipped into shape in 2 days? This is the most far-fetched astronaut story since Space Camp.
Usually actors are required to go through some sort of training whenever they do movies where they're going into space so that it looks realistic. There's one scene where Colonel Sharp literally takes both hands and just wipes him down a row of buttons like he's a 5-year-old in an elevator. And that turns the rocket on to bring them home. Even the Russian astronaut was not convincingly trained to play this part because anything that he fixed, he would just hit with a giant wrench or whatever he had lying around for Mother Russia.
This is how we fix problem in the Russian space station.
And he would always complain that when things that were clearly labeled didn't work, it was because it's stupid, it's not like Russian invention. And the only Russian thing in the movie broke after 2 minutes. All right, let's go through this crack team of drillers.
Starting with Owen Wilson.
We're talking about space, right? Outer space?
Owen Wilson!
Has this been said on Real Wasted before? I kind of hate Owen Wilson.
Second,
Yeah. And it's not like an anger-inducing hate, but it's like your movie is more disappointing to me if he shows up.
Yeah, mine is a how do you have a career hate?
No, mine is this is an Owen Wilson movie now. Because it's not just any movie with Owen Wilson. It's an Owen Wilson movie. This movie is an Owen Wilson movie now.
It's tainted.
It's tainted.
Wait. Is this an Owen Wilson movie before it's a Michael Bay movie?
No. It can be both. I can hate both. Alright, so Owen Wilson is there, and he does nothing. Absolutely nothing in the movie.
He really doesn't even have a backstory.
No.
I'll give you that.
You got Michael Clark Duncan.
Could I get a hug from you or something?
Less of a backstory.
Less of a backstory, but more of an actual doing things. In both the drilling atmosphere and in the space atmosphere, he did stuff. You've got Peter Stormare as the biggest stereotype in the history of stereotypes.
Components, American components.
You've got AJ, played by Ben Affleck, and I don't think the AJ actually stands for anything.
Okay, you want to be all psychological with me, that's fine.
And that's always, like, the key of, like, a terrible script writing, in my opinion, is if somebody has a J in their name and you don't know what their actual name is.
AJ is in love with Gracie, played by Liv Tyler, who is the daughter of Harry, played by Bruce Willis.
Not sure if that's gonna work.
He is an overprotective, overbearing father who does not want Gracie to marry AJ.
And if you didn't get that the first time, don't worry, they hammer that shit in.
This is Harry telling me I can't marry his daughter. Thanks a lot, I appreciate it.
We are remiss for not mentioning Steve Buscemi, who is by far my favorite goon in this ragtag bunch.
Beam me up, Scotty.
I'm not a Michael Bay fan, but there's always usually one character who I just look at in every Michael Bay movie and I go, they know they're in a Michael Bay movie, and that's why I like them. Steve Buscemi is that guy for me.
Piece of cake.
He played an idiot savant.
He did.
That's exactly what he did.
And then when it came time, the only time where his knowledge could be applied, he turned into a friggin' gun-toting lunatic.
He had space dementia.
Yeah.
That's a thing.
That's a thing?
I guess that's a thing. I'm not even going to argue that that's not a thing, because I don't know, but it doesn't sound like it's a thing.
Oh, I think it's going to be my new default.
Just wanted to feel the power between my legs.
Things that you would cut from this movie immediately, the scene with the animal crackers. Whoever wrote that, I hope you got better. Like,
yeah, well, the person who did write it did get better.
It was J.J. Abrams.
It was J.J. Abrams
I never
wrote
caught that.
this.
I had no idea. My mind exploded more than anything Michael Bay did on screen.
Which is impressive.
Well, like when people ask J.J. Abrams, like, oh, what have you written? I helped, I had a creative hand in Super 8, The Force Awakens, Armageddon, and they all laugh because they think he's kidding, and he's like,
no, I really did that.
I wrote that.
Otherwise, what the hell are we trying to say?
Really, I mean, no one wanted to be associated with this movie. You had Aerosmith's biggest hit come out of it, and Steven Tyler didn't even want to do it.
No. They showed him the scene of Liv Tyler crying right before Bruce Willis's death, and that's how they convinced him to do the movie. Oh. Aerosmith's only #1 hit was a song that they recorded and didn't write. How do you think that makes them feel?
Yeah, spoiler alert, this is also the second movie in the 90s where Bruce Willis is a ghost.
You got any more bullets in that gun?
Is it a fun movie?
Yeah.
It's fun as hell.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's stupid, but it's fun as hell.
Yeah.
I can't say that when I saw this in the movies when I was, I don't know, 12, I wasn't entertained. I was entertained. I was watching an asteroid being blown up in outer space. Yeah, that was fun.
I think it was a given that you had to put in for one of the drinking games that there would be a lot of explosions, but if we had actually counted every single explosion, we would still be drinking right now.
We wouldn't be recording.
No.
We'd be on our way to the hospital.
We'd all have to have our stomachs pumped. We drank the most for the explosions, I will say that, by far. But there were little glimpses of literally everything else that were the staples here. There was the chase scene at the beginning. There was a chase scene where Michael Clark Duncan is being chased by literally every police vehicle possible. There are flags and there is patriotism everywhere. The friggin' ships are called Liberty and Freedom.
And they're branded everywhere.
They're branded everywhere.
Like the capsule where they actually, it's like an elevator that brings them out of the ship.
Yeah.
And it says freedom on the bottom.
I obnoxiously shouted freedom every time it showed up on the screen, and I sounded like I was trying to audition for Braveheart.
It seriously looked like a Nike sponsorship.
Yeah, it did.
And there was even a little bit of sexism as Peter Stormare just totally knocks the only woman in the cast out of the way so he could go, "You're not doing it right," and he smacks it, and it works.
Finally!
We drank a lot for that clock.
That clock, every 2 minutes, that stupid clock came up.
If they weren't talking about the clock, they were showing it on screen. If that clock broke down, there was another clock on the bomb. And if that clock didn't work, they would show how far the asteroid was from hitting the Earth.
If I see a countdown clock in a 2-hour movie, more than I see a countdown clock in the Royal Rumble, you're misusing it.
Is this a good introduction into the world of Michael Bay? I would say it's arguably the best.
I think so, yeah. I think this was a good one to start with.
Yeah.
Because we probably got the most play on the explosions out of this one, but it'll be interesting to see how our 5 consistent drinking games apply to the rest of the films.
I can guarantee you that these games are solid and they will stick, and even the movies that we don't talk about with Michael Bay, I have a feeling these will apply very well. We counted 55 drinks for this, and that's only because we were being very liberal with them. We were very loose with the counting here. We could have easily gotten this up to 80 if we were really paying attention for it. But the point of this is to have fun, and Armageddon is definitely the movie to do for that. This is going to be an interesting month. Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you for the next movie in the May of Bay. If you've got suggestions for us in the future, please hit us up on Twitter, and we will see you guys next time. I'm Pat.
I'm Jackie.
I'm Sean.
Cheers.